Thank you. Probably we should try to put aside some of the fear-mongering. To my knowledge, no one in the Trump administration has advocated for taking Social Security money and using it for another purpose. So that's a hypothetical that is not only untrue, it is promoting fear. We should be telling everyone in America no one's promoting that. No one's asking for that. There are some debatable points, though. Nobody's advocating it from the post office either. Plus, the post office has no money. They're $9.5 billion in the hole every year now. But there are some real questions. The other side has called these illegal funding freezes. Well, I don't think pausing spending for a month, was what we've had so far, will be interpreted even as impoundment. There is a debate when something is actually impounded. I think if you went through a fiscal year and you get beyond a fiscal year and you haven't spent money, it's going to be classified by anybody as impoundment. There will be a legal debate over it at that time. But there will be a legal discussion, and this is a separation of powers issue. It's an important one. I actually voted against repurposing money for the wall, for building the wall last time, because I thought it was congressional perspective. So I share some of the concerns, but I think it's unfair to leap to sort of conclusions of this is illegal or this is, being done and it's democracy's in turmoil and the world's going to end. I mean, when they stopped the money flowing at USAID, they found $2 million for sex changes in Guatemala. And if the other side wants to stand up and argue that that's really wrong, that we're going to stop $2 million for sex changes in Guatemala, they can. But instead, they just say everything is illegal and Elon is terrible and Elon has all this data and Elon wasn't elected. These gentlemen weren't elected either. Their bosses won't be elected. Trump was elected. He's appointing them. So nobody in the administration's elected other than the president. They're all going to be appointed. But there's a question, when you elect a president, should they get to execute their policy? Did we elect a change? Or is there some sort of bureaucracy that's so huge and inert that we can't move it? And that's what many of us have complained about for a long time. Some call it the deep state, and the other side says, oh, they're all conniving. Well, no, the deep state is essentially the bureaucracy that is unmovable and has a perspective. And their perspective is skewed towards spending more money, not less. We should debate not whether Elon Musk is Satan, but maybe whether or not, we should spend $3 million out of State Department funds on girl-centric climate change in Brazil. Whether you spend $30,000 on a trans opera in Colombia, $25,000 on a trans comic book in Peru, $660,000 on microaggressions among obese Latinx. When you say that, most people don't even know what that means. And most people who are Hispanic are just, frankly, offended by the whole thing, whatever it's supposed to mean. All these racial sort of things and sort of, left-wing sort of causes, we can debate that, whether we should keep spending money on it, but we wouldn't know it had Elon Musk not stopped things. We wouldn't even know it was being spent. So I, for one, think scrutiny is good. But I'm not a blank check. I've told both of the nominees today, and I've told Russ Vought, when it comes down to a year from now, if the money's being impounded, I'm probably going to be saying, send it back and let Congress vote on it. And it's also a way of making permanence. I love all the stuff he's finding, all the waste. I want it to be permanent. I want it to have real, value, and we get that through a decision. Won't be easy, but it can be done through simple majority. And my guess is that the minority party, while they're squawking about Elon looking at their Social Security number or something, they are probably not, any of them, interested in cutting the $2 million for sex changes in Guatemala. That'll be part of a rescission package, and my guess is there won't be anybody on the Democrat Party that will vote for rescission of any kind of cutting. If we give them $1 billion for an aircraft carrier and they can do it for $800 million, shouldn't we be happy to get the $200 million back, and do a rescission package? I will say publicly, though, giving it back to the taxpayer when we have a $2 trillion deficit, let's fill up the hole of the $2 trillion deficit, and then we can talk about sending some back to the people. But I think it's premature to send any of that money back. It's also premature to say it's saved until we actually have a spending bill. I think next in line we have Senator Gallego.